Hi there, and welcome to Dork Wars Live, your favorite podcast, but live. Tonight, I've got some really great guests. And first up, we have Nicole from Rogue One Radio, great podcast, great friend of ours. There's Nicole.
Hi, how is everybody?
She's getting ready for the festivities, it looks like.
I am. I did. And I brought out something very special that I don't ever use. I don't.
Let's see.
And I know not everyone's going to like it, but I like them.
Oh, there she is.
Well, and I don't have just one. I have them both.
Oh, no. Poor Ro.
I want to go see this. I got the set.
I'm glad that I brought you on.
Like before I even got
Ro.
I was like, I have to have the set. And I actually have a Force Awakens mug. I just realized that. I don't know why I didn't put my drink in that tonight, but I decided, you know what, last minute, I'm like, I'm going to eat my popcorn out of my bucket that I never use.
And it's very fitting. It's very fitting.
It's very fitting. But as you see, it's protected. So, but thank you, Blake, for having me on. I'm so excited for tonight, for our fun conversations. I think this is what, my second time I've been on, so I'm excited. We're having fun.
Yeah, we are excited to have Nicole.
I've got the drinks. I brought Snickers just in case. Maybe I might have to throw a few out into the crowd to feed off the hungry tauntauns or whatever y'all decide you all want to be today.
Yeah, there's going to be some craziness going on. And speaking of craziness, I know our friend Ro has been getting prepared for our discussion
I
tonight.
brought a drink just in case.
So without further ado, the Scuttle Daddy himself, Ro from the Scare of Scuttlebutt podcast and leader of the Red Five. What's going on, Ro?
Woo!
What is going on, my friends? I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Blake, Nicole, you guys are fantastic. Let's have some fun. How you guys doing? I love those popcorn tins. I love that they're embossed, so they're not just like, you know.
These are gorgeous. These are
nice.
Gorgeous. I had to have them.
Yeah.
I mean,
they make a really nice sound too when you like tap on them.
So.
Right. Whether you like Tross or not, these popcorn buckets were gorgeous. They are AMC. Yeah. I wish they would actually have more of these at AMC. Okay, the Ghostbusters one was phenomenal, but these are gorgeous.
Nice. Very nice.
See, I wish I would have got some. I should have.
I don't think I had. Yeah, I didn't get it. They were at my AMC. They were selling an R2D2. Oh, I have it right there.
Oh my God, you got the R2D2 bucket?
The R2D2 bucket that you can put a drink and a popcorn thing in his butt.
Okay, that's the one I wanted. And I heard all about it. I was so excited.
Let me grab it real fast since we're talking.
What they have. But I couldn't complain. I mean, these are gorgeous. Can y'all see? Like,
so wait a minute.
I feel
I'm a little confused. Rose said that R2D2 had a butt, right?
Well, it's a scuttlebutt.
It's a scuttlebutt. Look at this.
Let's see.
He's got a scuttlebutt, and I got the popcorn tins, and well, you know.
Wait a minute. No, this is not the R2. Hold on. I really do have a lot of R2s.
He's got several R2s.
I know what he's talking about because I remember hearing about this particular popcorn bucket, and I wanted it so bad. Oh,
so you put the popcorn in there. Right. And then I think.
Wait, isn't that where Kenny Baker goes?
Yeah, and then I think.
Hey, the legend has passed away. We have to like.
Oh, there you go.
We're not bringing Nicole today.
The drink sits in there.
That's so cool.
And then you can sit in the theater like this.
And sound like.
Oh yeah. No, the drink goes in there. And then you go. And then the popcorn goes in R2 scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
I went with my son. This was for the Rise of Skywalker. I went with my son and his friends, and they were selling this for $50.
Right, because I got both of these about.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Shanti. But this is a family show, isn't it?
This is a family show.
This is not 420, my dear.
No,
the family that gets high together. Oh no.
They fly together, right? Anyway,
We're
just a
veering
great
off.
start tonight already. I'm telling you what, this is gonna be fun.
What's up, Andrew? Lunar Girl. What else is
yeah,
in
we
here,
got
man?
Andrew, Lunar Girl, General Shinobi herself is in the chat. I see all them. If you're in the chat, say hey. We'll call you out, and you know the thing that we do here. So, anyways, without further ado, I have a little bit of news. I don't have a lot, and that's okay because I feel like our main topic is going to take a lot. So, before we get into that, now hear this.
Now hear this. Now hear this.
Now you hear this, whoever you are.
Now, as far as news goes, we all know that the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is coming out on May the 27th. That is a Friday. And there's been some new promotional material that has Obi-Wan and Vader lightsabers up like they're about to duel. I'm going to tell you what, and I think it was at some kind of store. I think it's like a promotional art at a store or something, like over the toys. So I'm really hoping this holds true. Would you guys like to see Obi-Wan and Vader duel it out in this show?
It's going to happen.
Let's start with you.
It's going to happen.
Heck yeah.
Dude, I would love to see that. It would give so much gravity to the scene in A New Hope when he's talking about, I haven't felt that presence since and there's that pause, and
we don't know when.
Yeah,
and I mean that's the key. And I know a lot of people have problems with it because of a certain line that was spoken. But, all Ben has to do is say, in this series, all he has to say is, "You've got a lot to learn, Vader," and then run away like Skeletor.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, and it would still work within canon. So, Nicole, what are your thoughts on this? Do you want to see this fight?
I do. And we're expecting it. It's already been Kathleen Kennedy was very clear about that, which is good, unless she lied. But we're just not going to go down that path.
Don't go there.
I'm excited for it. I'll be honest. It's interesting because what the negative thought I have has nothing even to do. It has to do with the show, but not with the show. I can remember when the prequels came out, right? Hey, DB. I hope I did that right. Anyways, when the prequels came out, not everyone liked it, just like the sequels, right? That's right. You had your haters, you had your lovers and things like that. And I just hope that people give it a chance and not drown on it the minute the first 5 minutes comes out. I just hope they give it a chance. Just because the prequels, they did. I can remember people hating on it back when. And now people love it. Or to a degree, they love certain parts of it and whatnot. So
their love for the prequels, we may talk about that later in our sequel talks, actually. But Andrew from the Science Fictionary says he's going to feel responsible. He's going to have to see if Anakin is Vader for himself. I think you're right, Andrew. That's going to be one of the main themes, I think, of this show is him grappling with the fact that Anakin's still out there. He's Vader now, and he's doing some really, really bad stuff.
That can play a number. That can play a number on your brain.
Yeah, especially
I think that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to exploring in this show.
Right. And I think we need to watch the whole thing before we really critique it. And that's something I've kind of come to in viewing like Moon Knight and stuff. Like, let's see where it goes, because episode by episode, there might be some episodes that are really kind of underwhelming in the moment. But you go to the next one, you see like, oh, wait a minute, they were setting this up. Oh, this is amazing. So I think let's reserve judgment. Let's critique it. Let's look at it and give our in the moment thoughts. But let's not pass total judgment on that until the series wraps. And I think that's really gonna be the key. I want to see all of it before we really just go all in on it. Like,
right.
But anyways,
don't put Nicole. Don't put that drink too far.
No, I'm not.
It's a little too far away from you.
2 inches.
Yeah, because you're not going to want to get too far. Because Rose's been pre-gaming for this one because we're talking about the sequels tonight, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be really good.
But before that, I have to talk about our merch store.
Merchandising. Merchandising? What's that? Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Open up the store.
So Dork Wars, the podcast, has a merchandise store. You can find that on our website, dorkwarspodcast.com. You can find our link tree. Just type in Dork Wars link tree on Google. All of everywhere that we are will pop up, including the merch store. But we have Dork Wars, the t-shirt, Dork Wars, the hoodie, Dork Wars, the coffee cup, and Dork Wars, the eye gouger. Just in case you're watching the sequel trilogy. No, that's a joke. We really don't have that. Just poking a little fun. I'm not going to give away all of my thoughts on the sequels just yet.
Do you guys have oven? Do you guys have oven mitts for Danny?
No, we don't. We need to get those.
Yeah.
We got oven mitts.
A short Dork Wars PSA or Red 5 PSA, really. Danny, one of our fellow Red Fivers, really burned up her hands this weekend, I think, or was it Friday? Anyways, this weekend. I think it happened Friday. And we've been talking on our little chat. We have a Red 5 chat, of course, where we all talk and share each other's thoughts and feelings on everything, just hanging out all the time, 24/7. And we really need some Red 5 oven mitts, or even Dork Wars, just some oven mitts.
Yep.
But I would like to talk about Red 5 for a moment, as I like to do anytime that I go on live, because you guys are my Red 5 family, both Nicole and Ro. Nicole from Rogue One Radio and Ro from the Scare of Scuttlebutt podcast. This collection of people is amazing. Not just great podcasters, because we're great podcasters. I believe that. But we're great people. And that's what keeps me in the moment. I mean, that's what keeps me hooked to you guys. That's why you guys are on the show, because I love interacting with all of my Red 5 family so much. So quickly. It is. So quickly, Nicole, what does Red 5 mean to you?
What does Red 5 mean to you? One, we have the Podfather right here. This or as Shanti says, the Scuttle Daddy. Podfathered me, Scuttle Daddy to her. Oh Lord. And here we go. We're not even past 9 o'clock yet.
It's only less than 14 minutes in.
We're just getting into it.
Down. It's already going down. It's the shenanigans have begun.
And that's okay. That's what Dork Wars is all about, is shenanigans. So.
I know, I'm here for it. Okay, so Red 5 to me, even before I was a part of it, I was it already felt like family. It felt like friends and family and knit and tight and just talk about anything from geekdom to, to real life. Like there's just a lot more beyond what you see here on the cameras. Like even just this past week, we deep dived on the Scarify this week. And, and I think that's the thing about Red 5 is that we're very there for each other. If you're willing to let us in, we will be there. We will be there. They do the shout out, Red 5 report in. Shoot, I report in when my name's not even plugged in. I'm like, I'm here. You forgot my name. I know, because I'm just part of Rogue One. I'm one of 3. But I'm here,
I try to do that. I always miss it. Like, I mean, I don't miss it, but I'll see it. And I'm like, I've got like all these other tweets. Like, it's funny. I'll have like a really good tweet and I'll have all these notifications and that's just in there. Then I'll catch it like a day later. And be like, oh, get in there, report it real quick, even though I'm late. Shanti wants to know what you're drinking, Nicole.
Strawberry daiquiri. And I also have my water. I will put up the illusion tonight. Got the water too.
So, Ro, before you get into your what Red 5 means to you, what are you drinking? What haven't you drank this evening?
At the moment, I had earlier today. I got home from work and I looked for a there was a beer, but I had an apple ale, a red apple ale, which is they're sweet. They go down like fast.
Yeah.
Because they're so smooth. I had a couple of those. Now I'm having red wine.
But I love ciders. Yummy.
Yeah, ciders are good. Yeah, I'm a lightweight, so let's get the show going.
So, Ro, in the spirit that you are in right now, whatever spirits they may be, what does Red 5 mean to you?
Because I've had a couple. I love tortoiseshells. We had one.
my Alfie, the one I was talking about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
For all those listening to this in audio, a cat just appeared on screen.
Oh yeah, that's right, a cat.
It was a cat.
But really, you know, I feel like sometimes people are tired of hearing about Red 5. You know, because we're always talking about it. We're always you know, propping it up. But I love the fact that we're not propping it up as kind of like a third party. We're propping each other up, and we're supporting you know, our friends of content creators, which I think is amazing in this day and age when people like to, you know, get on social media and fight. We have quite a variety of content creators, which is really cool. There's something for everyone. So I think you know, I think Red 5. I had no clue what it would turn out to be when Brad and I thought of the idea and we started recruiting people for the cult. I mean, for the Red 5 family. Um,
Whatever you want to call it.
but you know, we started with 10 pods, and we, you know, it's 3 times as big now. Getting to that, you know, to that number has been really, really amazing. And you know, we talk about hashtag Red 5 family, and it really is, you know, a family. So I'm I'm very pleased at the group of people that have been curated under that name, and I'm proud of you all.
Aww.
Oh, well said. He right from the heart. I love it. I love it.
And I love
But
you guys, man.
let me tell you what. So Red 5, I love Red 5. I love all you guys talking with you guys and
Oh, and I was just cleaning out some old emails on the Scare Scuttlebutt. And,
Oh,
June 30th is when Blake, when you emailed the Red 5 email and said, "What can I do to get to be a part of the network? We've always wanted to join," and you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it's funny that we're on tonight
yeah.
with you. I was looking through the emails, and you know, it was June 30th. Too funny.
Wow. That's great. So I mean, we're not too far removed from a year now,
Right?
actually,
Yeah.
a couple months. And
JB,
no,
talk about putting in diamonds and money. It's okay.
so this week I was listening to Brandy and Tiffany. It's usually Brandy and now I can't, I hadn't seen her in a minute.
Ashley.
Brandy and Ashley. That's right.
Yeah.
Or Ash. Now I'm confused. It's usually it's Ashley and Tiffany were on, right? I always get
Yeah.
confused. Anyway,
Yeah.
and they just wrapped up the main part of their podcast where they were doing their journey through all of the Star Wars. They went from I believe episode 1 all the way through Rise of Skywalker, and I think they hit all the shows and everything. Well, I kind of started listening to those guys halfway through, maybe a little over, and I was on. Oh, I am not, Chauncey. I am not drunk too. No, I just couldn't think of the name. I've all 3 of them been on there, and then they've switched out lately.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to their pod, and they were on a social media. I think it was on Facebook, and I asked a question about joining a network, and we were kind of interested for the networking and for this and for that. And they put on there, well, we're part of the Red 5 network. We love it. There's supportive people on there. There's a lot going on. And I was like, okay, well, I'll check it out. So I check out a couple of the other podcasts. I'm like, man, these guys are really great. They seem tight knit. And then I message Ro, and the rest is history. Here we are today on Dork Wars Live. And I love it.
Good story.
So
good story.
Moving on now, we are going to get
saps before we begin the main topic.
Yeah. All right. So someone passed a collection plate before we get started on the main topic. But anyways, tonight we are going to be talking about a topic that is very divisive amongst Star Wars fans, even amongst regular people.
Like Mustafar.
Yeah, it's hotter than Mustafar, this topic. Yeah, you're right. So without further ado, let's get into this main topic and
Punch it!
So it seems that the
Ooh.
hyperdrive has
Woo.
failed. And what is that? It's the sequel trilogy. Usually I have it come out at a plan and stuff, but this time I had the hyperdrive malfunction. I thought that was a very fitting lead in, at least how some people think of this trilogy. The sequel trilogy, like we said, is very divisive. There are some good moments in it. There's some bad moments. There's some great ideas. Some
The good, the bad, the ugly.
of
Yeah,
everything.
like you said earlier. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
can think of the series.
And I know there is good, there is bad, and I can see some good and I can see some bad. But on the whole, just this sequel trilogy hasn't gone over well with the fans. And I tell you what, Joker voice is already he made it just in time for division and
I'll just be
and
here
hot
downing my drink. Let me know when I need to ship it.
But yes, a lot of people like Joker voice think the sequels sucks and that anyone thinks otherwise is wrong. But I think everyone, even if you like the sequels, we're all Star Wars fans. So let's just get this thing started.
Star
First,
Wars.
with Nicole. What are the trilogy's best attributes? I'm putting you on the spot.
The trilogies, I know. I'm like mid-drink. What? Okay. The trilogy's best attributes. Man, and to think I wrote down quotes, different things for today. Best attributes. I mean, okay. I think one, there are moments out of each of the movies that bring something to Star Wars that is special.
Right.
You know, from the Millennium Falcon where Han and Chewie board that plane and they go, "We're home." I mean, the theater I was in erupted in applause and cheer. You could feel the whole theater just get excited. I will not, I can't, I will never not love that moment. That will always be with me. I think it brought us a variety of really good characters that are new to us, at least for me, in my opinion. And that is even before I drank the beginning of the strawberry daiquiri. Anywhere from Ray, I personally love Rose Tico, even though I feel, well, we'll get to that in the next part of the conversation about Rose. Because I do like her. I do believe she could have had what she did bring, or what she was allowed to bring, she did bring. I like the fact that they also included, you know, a lot of great various you know, creatures that we hadn't seen, crystal foxes, porgs, you know, different things like that. Again, I'm going to pull out everything. I'm going to pull out every good thing I could think of. I love Maz, but again, we'll get to that one again later. You know, and I feel like I can
story
take
for another time.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you all this now, but guess what? We're going to revisit that in a few minutes.
That's right.
Because there is, you know, again, the good and the bad. That's what this is.
That's right.
You know, and Finn and Poe, like there's really, really good ones. You know, I'll be honest, also during this, I was reading, the lead up to the Rise of Skywalker and stuff. So I feel like I got to see some other stuff that, you know, not see. I have an imagination. You know, when you read, of course, they kind of build, you know, bridge those gaps.
Right.
So I feel like I got a little bit more than maybe every other person or people who didn't read. But that's the story of our lives. Sorry, bookworms. We get a little bit more action. I can't help it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I am right now listening to the EU, some of my favorite EU books. So I'm listening to Legacy of the Force right now. Oh my gosh, so amazing.
See, very so nice. Some of these books are you know, they're the bridge. I mean, that's the attributes, I guess. That's what I have.
That's it. That's all you got.
Quotes that I have. There are moments I have. You know, one of my favorite moments, but I don't know if we're to the favorite moments part, so I don't want to waste my good stuff until later.
No love for the porgs.
She did say, Nicole did say the porgs. Yeah, there's love for the porgs.
I said
Nicole loves them.
It tastes like chicken.
Porgs? No.
Just Chewbacca.
These are our friends. And of course,
again,
we have Chewbacca. And you know, even through the sad times with the Chewbacca, you know, behind the scenes, I feel like that we also got to see the passing of the torch, from Peter Mayhew. I'm a total sap. From Peter Mayhew, of course, to Jonas. And I'm sorry, I love Jonas as Chewbacca as well. I feel like Peter Mayhew really blessed him with it and just went, he's yours, take care of him. The fans love him. And I feel Jonas took that sucker up and went that mantle and nailed it. And
Peter Mayhew just couldn't do it anymore. And I'm so glad that he passed it off and did it in a way that was great for him. And the character was still amazing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So
Ro, coming to you. I'm interested. I want to know what you like about the sequels, and is there anything?
Yeah, I jokingly said that we were going to talk about this tonight, and I have thoughts, obviously, and that I'm not a complete a-hole about the sequel trilogy, but I'm going to have to consult the secrets of the Sith holocron on this, because there's a couple of things that Nicole said, obviously, that are good things.
Very good things.
Let's see. The trilogy looked pretty.
Yeah.
And it better for $200 million each. But let's see, I had a really good experience with The Force Awakens. Really loved the introduction of Rey. Loved the new characters, was wondering what was going to happen. I loved the introduction of the Millennium Falcon. The music cues were inspirational. They were great. There were a lot of things that were set up, especially with Rey's history, which I found very interesting, and obviously, thinking about that stuff, because as Star Wars fans, we always like to speculate and try to figure things out before the answers are. Yes, they did do some practical stuff, although there's a lot of sequences in there that are CGI that are beautifully done. The Millennium Falcon chase after it takes off through Jakku and through the Star Destroyer, that was CGI. It was an amazing sequence. So yeah, and I know Shanti has said this in the past, and I might have to agree with her. The Force Awakens is really great, but then it's not as watchable within the sense of this trilogy because of what comes afterwards. So I kind of want to, echo that notion. I still enjoy it, like Shanti says, but I probably, won't ever watch The Last Jedi again. I saw it twice. The first time, obviously, because it's an event film for me and my friends. The second time, I went to go see it just to make sure I wasn't wrong about it. And then The Rise of Skywalker, obviously, I saw in the theaters. It was lackluster. For me, the Last Jedi is the only Star Wars movie that I have not bought either digitally or physical disc. It's just, to me, it's just very, very disappointing on so many levels. But again, it's got some great concepts, I guess, the trilogy as a whole. And when I say the trilogy as a whole, I honestly forgot 98% of things that happened in The Last Jedi, probably by choice. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into all that stuff later.
We will. And I think you're right, Ro. I want to ping off something you said. These movies are beautiful. I love the X-wing design. I like seeing them come over. I don't know if it's can't remember which movie it's in where you see the X-wings flying over the water. I think it's The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And they got that totally new design, and they are beautiful. The sights are amazing. The lightsaber fights, while the choreography is not the best, I don't think. I really like they look so real. Like the prequels made lightsabers and all that stuff look real, but something about the sequel trilogy that just looks real. Like that's what a lightsaber would look like. That's what a lightsaber would sound like. And the planets, I think, are very interesting. While they are kind of offshoots of planets we've seen before, And yeah, The Force Awakens is a redressed New Hope, like Joker Voice says. I do the plot overall
Sure.
mimics A New Hope, but
And from some of the articles and things that have been publicly addressed, the Disney book that says that basically, they didn't want to mess with something new. They wanted to kind of work on nostalgia and the familiarity of the story beats. So, JJ wanted to do something different,
yeah,
and the suit said no, retell A New Hope because we want to recoup our 4.2 billion or four and a half
right,
billion dollars, which I think was the biggest mistake you could make.
yeah,
But again, all right, we'll get into it.
yeah. We will.
I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. No, totally. This is what it's about, and I get it that it does mimic A New Hope. And
Mhm.
overall, the plot is A New Hope, and it's like I just wanted something a little different. I mean, you have Star Killer Base, which is just bigger Death Star, right? And
Mhm.
but I do like the introduction of Rey. I do like the
Mhm.
introduction of Finn and Poe,
Sure.
and I like the introduction of these characters. I like the introduction of Kylo Ren. Very intriguing.
Mhm. Sure.
Now, later on down the road with these characters, we'll get into that. But I like the introduction. I remember the build up to The Force Awakens, and the build up for that movie was
Mm.
immense. You know, I
Yeah.
was a little young when Phantom Menace came out. I was I was 9. I was 9 years old when that movie came out. So I remember the merchandise. I remember the Saboba and Anakin Lay's chips and stuff like that. But I wasn't old enough to be like, oh my gosh, we're getting ready to see more Star Wars. There's not been Star Wars since the 1980s.
Mhm.
But this was like my first real experience with a new Star Wars trilogy, just really getting to experience the buildup as a mature adult. And I remember just being so excited. Me and my dad go to the theater, my sister as well. We go to the theater, we're sitting in our seats. It's like 12 at night, and my dad's like, Blake, it's starting. Like it's Star Wars, it's new Star Wars. And what we got was good. We had the Chewbacca Han we're home moment. That was
Mm.
amazing. And we see Leia. I think it hit all the right cues. The overall plot just suffered. And I love the introduction. Another thing that I like is the story beats with Kylo Ren. I don't like Kylo Ren at the beginning as much. I like his introduction, like I said, but his story arc in the first film just fell really flat for me overall. But in Force Awakens, or not Force Awakens, in The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, I actually really like Kylo Ren's story. And I like the dark and the light. I like the light pulling at someone from the dark. We don't see that much in Star Wars, and that was a really interesting idea. And I think that's what this sequel trilogy does well, is present good ideas, but the execution is just not there.
Mhm.
So with that, let's move into our next topic here. Ro, I want to start with you. What are the
Oh,
yeah, this might not be good. We might be here. It's 9:53 on the East Coast, 8:53 Central Time where you guys are at.
I'm gonna roll up my sleeves here.
We'll time this. No, I'm just kidding.
I got water, I got Snickers, I got chocolate, I got my battery, and we're good.
Nicole, get the popcorn ready because we're getting into the worst attributes. Ro, what are the worst attributes of the sequel trilogy?
Well, I think one of the worst attributes that can probably be attributed to all three films, like you said, is execution. Um, they didn't have a plan, and later on in the life of this trilogy, we found out that they didn't have a plan. They were, kind of working as they went along, which is never a good thing. You might be able to get away with that in an independent movie, but not in a multi-million dollar franchise that has been established already. So yeah, execution is is a big one for me. Um, I don't know, as much as the internet has hounded the trilogy, the sequel trilogy, about the the treatment of legacy characters, and namely Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, I think that that probably for me is one of the biggest reasons that I just really despise that middle movie.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm sitting here wanting to see Luke Skywalker become godlike, as a
Right.
lot of people say. It's just that when we last left Luke Skywalker in 1983, he did a wonderful thing. He saved his father. After all that was said and done, Vader was evil, but he was able to save him. He still had a glimmer of hope to be able to work with his sister to save the galaxy and bring the galaxy's government together in
Right.
a way that that perhaps the galaxy can be governed in a healthy way. And and then the Last Jedi shows up with Luke, and he's like, whatever, none of that matters. I suck. The Jedi suck. The galaxy sucks. My friends are dying, and I really don't care. And that really is something that bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
Andrew's right. Every character, every legacy character in the sequel trilogy devolved.
They did. Yeah.
And why
I
is that?
totally
It's
agree.
because obviously they didn't know what to do with these characters, both new and old, to move the story forward. So what did
Right.
they do? They kicked it back a couple of notches and started from scratch. And that was a big mistake.
And I agree with you, Ro, 100%. And Andrew as well in the chat. Thank you for that comment. They really did digress every character. Like Han Solo is literally the same person he was at the beginning of A New Hope.
Right.
Why? Like, why do that? He helped save the galaxy. He goes through so much with Leia. He goes through so much with the rebels. He becomes a captain in the military, and they just didn't do it right. Like, why would he go back to scoundrel to being a scoundrel? Why
Right.
wouldn't he try to help save his son from the dark side? I mean, it's like he didn't give a crap about Leia or Ben or anything.
Mhm.
After Ben turns to the dark side, I guess he just goes off and does his own thing. And I can get how everyone feels defeated over that loss, but why not try to help save the kid? Like,
Right.
why just go back to what you were doing before?
Mhm.
Leia, she's just the same person. She's the general now
Mhm.
of the
And
what
she's
is it,
got
the new
new
rebels?
hair.
She's got new hair. Yeah, she does. She's a general now, which is great. It's just every character either devolves to where they were, or they even go back farther than they were before. Like Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker, like he goes from a guy with hope
Mhm.
in A New Hope. He has hope for the gal, even at the beginning. Like he's star-crossed. He wants to go out and do other things, and
Yeah.
instead now he's just like this hermit who doesn't give a crap about the galaxy. He just wants to sit there and die.
Yeah.
That really was a problem for me. And I know it's not my turn to talk about it. It's Nicole's turn. So Nicole, what are the worst attributes about the sequel trilogy?
Real fast, I want to
Oh
interject
no, yeah,
something
go
because
right.
you started to
Go
say
ahead.
something, and that's one of the things that really bothers me is a character that was so hopeful
Yeah.
all of a sudden just decides that he's no longer hopeful. He wants to die and he wants to let the galaxy. I mean, how how does that help the galaxy if he gets rid of the Jedi and disconnects himself from the Force? I
I agree.
don't understand how that helps the galaxy, because the First Order was rising in power. So evil flourishes when good men do nothing.
That's right.
And it's so idiotic to me when people say, "Well, Luke had moments of growth, and that's his story in in the sequel trilogy." I'm like, no, he had moments of growth in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Now he knows. So
Yeah.
to be regressed to that
To that level.
hermit in the cave that doesn't care about a damn thing is idiotic. I'm gonna take a drink.
So
I,
I do want
I
to I want
Kit Kats. Go for
Yeah,
it.
so I do want to ping off that a moment, Road. Let's go and talk about Luke Skywalker because he's a big problem for me in this trilogy. I like that. I don't like that in the trilogy he's this way, but I like seeing a downtrodden Luke. I mean, everyone goes through this. I think that's what they were going for. Everybody gets depressed. Everyone gets in this funk. But I think that would have been left better in maybe a series or a book in between. I think by the time the sequel trilogy comes around and we're going to get to the part where he dies and we send him off, have him out there just fighting his best. Have him out there doing all he can to save the galaxy because that's who Luke Skywalker is. Luke Skywalker is not the depressed hermit we see in the sequel trilogy. And go through that arc. Go through a depressed Luke. I don't mind that. Maybe that should have been his arc in Book of Boba Fett or something, or maybe get a series right after Ben turns to the dark side. I can see how that can be demoralizing. But at the end of the day, Luke Skywalker would just get everything together and say, you know what? This happened, but I'm going to save the galaxy. This is bad, but I'm going to do this. And Mark Hamill, we know Mark Hamill didn't agree with the way that Luke Skywalker was portrayed. Like he all but said it in so many interviews. And like you said, Ro, this is something that bothers me so much about the sequels. And I think the Last Jedi could have been a good movie had they just went a different way with Luke Skywalker. Period. So, Nicole, thoughts on that and the worst attributes of the sequel trilogy? Oh, and hey there, DJ. Yeah, while Nicole is taking a eat. Long live the dark side. DJ in the chat. Thank you for coming, man.
All set. He'd be proud. He'd be proud. All set. He'd be proud. Okay. Mine's a slight piggyback. It's pretty much like the same thing, basically, what you guys were saying, but character development all around. I mean, like, I love Maz, but I wanted to know more, and I still wanted to know, the meme that's been going around later. We're still wondering how Maz got the lightsaber.
That's a story for another time. They just haven't. They don't know.
We'll get a comic.
Just not now.
I know that's in the book, but what I'm gonna get at is that basically it's character development. Love Rose Tico in the second movie. I felt she had a really good presence. Again, she's really good in the books, and it's like I wanted that in the third movie. And I know what they were trying to do. I really feel like they might have actually had good intentions and good heart because of Carrie. It's just, but the character development still needed to be there.
Right.
I mean, there's just so much character development that was just left undone with Finn, with Poe. Lord knows I could have had some more Zori if I could have.
Sure.
And that's my big one because I feel like character development is almost all the way across.
Untapped and underdeveloped.
Right. Yeah. Because I like these characters. I like them in the book. I like them. And at moments I really love them, but it's at the same time, it's like they started off strong and then kind of
fizzled out.
Maybe they should have went with one director all the way through. They didn't do that with the original, of course, but maybe, maybe they should have, I don't know. Maybe they should just sat them both down and went, okay, you guys, let's work together. If you can't work together, maybe this is not the best situation. I don't know. I've always wondered, what if, I think I mentioned this the other day, I don't know if it was, I can't remember, it was Brandy's or whatever, but I've always wondered what would have happened if Kylo would have been more saved in The Last Jedi, and in the third movie he would have been Ben Solo. Yeah. I've always wondered what that would have been like. Because there part of me goes, it would have been different. And we could have seen him on the up, on the going from from the dark side to the light side. And some things make sense to me. I get it. Basically, Rey's kind of like Luke, and her saving Ben at the tip end, just like Luke saving his dad, yada yada yada. But it's like, but they could have given us something fresh. And, again, and I don't blame the actors or the actresses. This kind of comes down to screenplay writing and the directors, producers, and they had just so much that could have been there. So much.
Yeah, and I think like the actors do get a lot of flack. If you look back, even the prequels, I mean, Hayden Christensen has been criticized beyond belief about his acting as Anakin, and I've actually come to warm up to that. And maybe I'll get into that on a different podcast.
I was gonna say, I have my own thought on that too. I think I'm the only. I thought I was the only one who thought, oh, I like the awkward Anakin who, other than Obi-Wan, didn't really have a real dad to show him how to treat a woman.
Right. And
crazy, right?
Yeah, and I have talked about that.
Awkward ages at the age of 16 talking to a girl.
True. That's right. Exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm going with that.
No. Thank you.
Still. I don't want to brag.
But the rest,
But Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, all these characters, or all these people, they're not characters, they're actual people. These actors got so much flack.
Roasted for the Kelly Moran too.
Yeah. It's like she got it probably worst of all.
And for what
did they do? I think they did the best they could. I don't dislike the acting of Rey that we got. I don't dislike the way she played the character. I dislike the writing. I dislike where her character went. And I think that's very valid, Nicole. Very valid.
When I think of Star Wars, like when it came to tonight, like the good, the bad, the ugly. The ugly, I think, is, forgive me, but it is the fans or the fandom who chose to mistreat these people or mistreat because for what? Okay, you don't like it? Okay, that's great. Move on. Because why do you have to, bully people who do like it, or why do you have to bully these celebrities who were given a task, they did good, and moving on.
Yeah.
Right on cue. It only took 48 minutes and 39 seconds for Joker Voice to say that the sequel trilogy stories are going the way of the dodo.
Yeah. So let's get into that real quick. What do you guys think about this theory? There's a theory that the Ahsoka Lives trilogy, the Ahsoka Lives theory, where because she lives, that makes it a different timeline, the world between worlds. I'm not going to get really deep into it. We don't have time for that because that's a couple hours. Right. But basically, Ezra in Rebels goes into the world between worlds and saves Ahsoka from being killed from Vader, and that wasn't supposed to happen in that timeline. So there's a new timeline. And what do you think about that real quick? Do you think that's a thing? Do you think that's going to happen?
No. All right, I joke around about it, but no, it's not going to happen. And here's my reasoning for it from a viewer from outside the galaxy here. Can you imagine if that would happen and the hardcore haters of the sequel trilogy would be celebrating like the Ewoks celebration after the end of Return of the Jedi, and everybody would say, we were right, the trilogy sucks, and that's why Disney kind of sidelined it. There's no way that from a business standpoint, they would do that, because it would mean that they're putting people that actually like the sequel trilogy, they're putting targets on their back.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I don't think that they would do that. And I don't think that they would ostracize the fans of the sequel trilogy even more so than they already are, because of the dislike from people like us. There's just no way.
Yeah. Yeah. I really agree with that, Ro. I think you hit it right on the head. Nicole, any thoughts on this theory? Where is it going? Is it a thing? Is it going to be a thing?
Ditto.
Yeah. Ro pretty much dropped the mic on it.
I mean, he said it just quite eloquently. I think I agree. I don't.
And I'm 3 red wines in.
This is probably the clearest you're thinking tonight.
That definitely clears my thinking.
And here's the other thing. Okay. I'm sorry. I do not want Star Wars to, while Marvel is doing a multiverse, which is wonderful and great. It is their own. Okay.
Yeah.
It is probably Kevin Feige's brain. Okay. Or whoever's imagination he decided to pull this out from.
Yeah.
I don't want a copycat. I'm sorry, Star Wars. I don't want a copycat, just like you didn't want the copycat book. And that does not mean I don't believe in hope.
Yeah.
Okay, I have hope. Trust me. But I don't. I mean, and if I'm wrong and I end up being wrong in the long run, that's fine. I'm not gonna, oh, I was wrong and have a bitch fest about it. No, but
Now,
in my I don't think so. And again, I want fresh. Why copy what Marvel's doing and go, oh, let's do variants. Let's do a multiverse, but in Star Wars. No.
I think it would separate fans even more so. I mean, Star Wars now is a couple of decades old. We've got comic books, we've got animation, we've got movies, we've got series on the small screen. It's pretty confusing for the normal fan. If you bring in a multiverse in Star Wars and start spreading the story this way and that way and this way and this way, you're gonna lose the audience.
Yeah, and we got kind of a soft reboot of this, like with the EU. Like there's an extended universe, the Legends, before Disney bought Star Wars, and there was a whole line, books, novels, comics, everything that happened after the original trilogy. Great stuff. I still love it to this day. Like I said earlier in this show, I still listen to those books. And look, Nicole has some of them right there, some of the best ones. Actually, that looks like the if I'm not mistaken,
I want to go to Nicole's house.
Yeah,
you probably have more than I do.
Is that the Jedi Academy trilogy? Champions of the Force, and
I also now have it in hardback too. I recently found it in hardback.
Oh my god! I want to go to Nicole's house too.
I have the George Lucas ones too. Oh my god, I love that. Yeah,
but we have the extended universe, and that was great. Well, they took all that away, and they started fresh with the sequel trilogy and some of the Rogue One, Han Solo. We got all that stuff and comics and books that have built up the Disney canon. We've got that before, and it didn't go over well with everybody, obviously. And I don't think they're going to try to do it again. I want to ping off what Joker Voice says here. Guess you don't like making money. There's no profit in continuing the sequels. Well, Disney just built too many parks in their. Yeah.
It is not about profit. This should be about entertainment, values, and ethics and things. It is not always about money. Money will come with it naturally.
Yeah.
If it's done well. I mean, how much money did they spend and you're not happy?
Yeah, the only thing that I would say to that is, I'm going to agree with Joker Voice a little bit, because we have to understand. We have to understand that Disney is not really in the business to be all lofty and dreamy and all that stuff. They're a business. They have stockholders. They have people to answer to.
That's right.
And it's about the money. It's about the bottom line. If they can get something in there cool with story-wise and to please the fans, obviously it's our money that is building their empire, then that's a plus. But we have to understand that it's a business. And again, if you don't like what Disney is putting out, you can vote with your wallet. I'm not like a boycotter kind of guy. I still have to see everything at least to form an opinion. But at the end of the day, I remember going to see The Force Awakens 7 times because I really enjoyed it. Last Jedi twice. The Rise of Skywalker once was enough. So there's definitely, a graph of my viewing, and I'm sure I'm not alone. There are mega fans of the franchise like us that go see it more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times with different groups of friends, with by themselves. So I hear this also. I hear this rhetoric. It's not mega fans that dictate what Disney is listening to. It's the regular fans. And I have to disagree with them, because the regular fans don't have years and years of collectibles behind them when they podcast. They don't have that. We have spent literally hundreds and thousands of dollars with this franchise, buying their product, watching their movies over and over again. And the regular fans have not done that. They go see the
That's
movie
right.
once, maybe twice, and that's it. They'll buy a
Right.
keychain, they'll buy a Darth Vader keychain, and that's it.
Yeah.
We furnish our homes with this stuff, and it's our money that built this empire. Period. Done.
I agree.
Another drink.
Row with the good takes, and I agree. Disney has just built too many parks within Disneyland and Disney World that revolve around Star Wars. But the setting is the sequel trilogy, and people are eating it up. They love it. They're going in droves.
Sure.
When Rey comes out with her new lightsaber that extends from the hilt, that's pretty cool. I've seen the videos. They're awesome. I haven't been invited. Some people got invited from TikTok. I didn't. I'm not great enough, I guess. And that's fine. That's okay. But it's cool. It looks awesome. And people are eating it up. At the end of the day, Disney's a business. This is what Joker Voice says even here. So it kind of contradicts what you were saying, Joker Voice, because people are buying this stuff. That's the thing. There are people who love it. Normal fans love it. Some hardcore fans love it too. I mean, I'm not going to say they don't. And you have to think there is this balance between what the mega fans want and what the normal fans will tolerate and buy into and give money to. And Disney is trying their best to meet in the middle with these shows. I think just the stuff we're getting some great content. I'm not going to say we aren't, but at the end of the day, they're going to make money, and the sequel trilogy is still making money. So that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah. And a company as big as Disney is not gonna step back and say, you know what, we screwed up on the sequel trilogy. Let's try something else. We have to judge their movement on that concept with what they're doing now. So we've got the Filoniverse that, for the most part, I think is really pleasing the fans. We won't get into the Book of Boba Fett, but I think, the Mandalorian is doing well. I think, we are gearing up to see Kenobi. We are gearing up to see, there's news that they've already started. Well, they will be starting the second season of Andor, which I'm looking forward to. So we are, we're I lost my train of thought. We're looking forward to this stuff. And we have to kind of judge, I guess, Disney on the actions of what they are currently producing.
Right. And I agree with that. Just quickly, I know we kind of brushed over my worst of the trilogy, and it was kind of following yours, Ro, and yours also, Nicole. And this is kind of going to lead into our next little bit of discussion. I think that the development was off. There was none of the characters got a great development. None of them did. The legacy characters digress, and the new characters that we get just don't really go anywhere. Rey is just naturally good at everything. There's not much training that we see. People throw around the word Mary Sue, which I get, and I would have liked to see more. The Maz Kanata stuff, very interesting character.
Yes,
I think she's great. When are we going to get the story for another time? Like, we've kind of teased this throughout this episode, and it's a story for another time. Well, I want that other time to be now. Like, what happened? Like, that can't be a horrible story to write. Can't be too far out there to just say, hey, this is what happened. Put it in a comic, put it in a book. Something. A Maz Kanata TV show. I'm sure people would love it. Just do it. I want to know what happened.
Sure.
We don't get the backstory. I know Chantel said this in the comments a while back, and I'm not going to scroll up that far, but she said that not enough characters got backstories. Zori Bliss, she's in The Rise of Skywalker. Why are you introducing a character with an integral part to the plot in the last movie and have nothing about her?
Bringing in top-notch actors. You got Phasma, who was amazing. She's obviously an amazing performer, actor. I don't know.
Yeah, and Joker Voice says it here. What sells is the legacy characters and the Mandoverse and Grogu. Of course, Mandoverse and Grogu. They're just cute. They're great. We love it.
They're cute.
But the reason is the people didn't connect with these characters. Right. As they did with the original characters, or even Anakin and Obi-Wan from the prequel trilogy, or Mace Windu, people like that, because their story didn't go anywhere. They rushed things. We don't get any development on Rey.
I want to really fast touch on Joker Voice's comment. What sells
Yeah,
now
go
for
for it.
Lucasfilm? I had noticed, obviously, when the Last Jedi released toys and collectibles, and then the Rise of Skywalker released toys and collectibles. I mean, all that stuff ended up in the bargain bin.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of that in the thrift stores. You saw a lot of that at Target clearance shelves. Red stickers, yellow stickers all over the place.
Yeah.
And you're right, people did not connect with those. Although I will say that the toy industry as a whole suffered for many reasons. You had a lot of trending things are present in toy manufacturing and marketing that kind of made the industry suffer.
Right.
Kids no longer played with action figures. Kids are on their phones playing with electronic devices. They're outside less. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a generational thing. But I will have to say that there was a period in time where there were no sequel trilogy figures, new ones at least, being released. You saw a recycle of the old stuff
Yeah.
that was relegated to the bargain bins. I did remember seeing a period in time, as Joker pointed out, that legacy action figures started to show up on shelves. You had stormtroopers, you had Luke Skywalkers, you had Han Solos and Chewies,
Yeah.
and those things, besides Grogu and Mando, those things started to fly off the shelves. Again, why? Because collectors and fans of the franchise, like me in particular, connect with those characters, go out and seek those characters, buy the action figures and all the stuff that is shown behind us.
Yeah.
I also want, and I'm wondering if this is true. It seems like the older fans have more of a disposable income as well to be able to just scarf up whatever they see when it comes to the original trilogy. More so than I think younger fans, because for whatever reason, I don't know. I would love to see if there's any research on that, um, and see if my supposition is correct.
Yeah. General Shinobi says, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. But yes,
Please.
I agree with you, Ro. I agree with you. Those legacy characters do fall off the shelves. We just don't connect with the new characters. And I really think it's the story. It's Ray just being good at everything right off the bat. I know it's kind of an overused thing, but she really is. We don't get to see those training montages. I'd like to see more of that. We have Luke on Dagobah, but he fails a lot. Luke on Dagobah fails a lot. We didn't see that with Ray. That's just the hard facts. Um, Finn, he digresses. Like in the first movie, he has the all inspiring moment. He's going to fight with the resistance and he's going to do this and this and this. He starts out reluctant and he just wants to just be anonymous and don't want to do anything. And then he gets over that and he fights for the resistance. And then in The Force Awakens, he's back to just getting on the escape pod and leaving. Why? Like that, you just took your character back 2 steps.
Right.
He came forward a step and you brought him back 2. And it just doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? General Shinobi says it best right here. Too one-dimensional. They were. Even Poe Dameron, he's a great fighter pilot. He could have had a great story. These 3 characters could have had an amazing story. I like Finn. I like Rey. I like Poe. I don't like what they did with them. Rey could have had a great arc where she's trained to be a Jedi.
Read.
Yeah, read that one.
Read.
But unfortunately, not every fan reads.
Right.
And Finn, I wish Finn could have like developed more of the force sensitive stuff. I wish he could have like developed into that character. Kylo Ren, like you guys said, like maybe he should have turned in The Force Awakens or at least like gone more that way. It was all at once. Everything in this trilogy is all at once. Like, I'm good now. Boom. I'm good at lightsaber fighting. Boom. I'm good at fighter piloting. Boom. I'm gonna fight for resistance. Boom. I'm Luke Skywalker and I'm gonna save the galaxy. Boom. Like it's all in an instant. There's no development over time. like in the original trilogy, we get great development. We get to see Han go from scoundrel to Rebel Alliance captain. And he makes a progression. In the first movie, he's all about himself. By the end of the movie, he's like, okay, I'll fight for these guys. I've made a connection. In Empire Strikes Back, he is like, okay, I'm here and I'm helping the rebels. I want to do this, but I still have a debt to pay. I have duties. And then in the last movie, he is all about saving the galaxy with his friends. That is great character development. These movies do not have that, unfortunately.
Yep. Agree.
So
I actually wish, we've got obviously our usual group of folks in the chat. I really wish that we would have some other folks that maybe don't usually know our opinions on this stuff, or maybe even some people that really like the sequel trilogy, because it would be interesting to kind of chat with them. And again, we're not sitting here bashing the movies for no apparent reason. I'd like to think that right, I'd like to think discuss exactly our usual group of misfits. I'd like to think that we discuss things openly and honestly, and without
right,
without being too harsh, et cetera. But I guess that's what I wanted to say. I just because I know we teased it, earlier in the day and through the week. I was really looking forward to it, and I wanted some folks in the chat that, that I tagged in the posts to come on by. But hey, we got Joker voice, so that's cool.
Hey, he's the man. And I got almost 2,000, I think, views. It's like 1,500 views of this on TikTok. A lot of people saw it. And a lot of people liked it. They didn't come, but it's okay. It's all right. We got our usual group of misfits, and that's okay. But this kind of moves into, and these kind of next questions, they're all going to kind of be in one. Does this trilogy really tell a good story? And we've kind of answered that already. I don't think so. It's kind of disjointed. You have the directors going back and forth, JJ to Rian Johnson, back to JJ. It's like they were kind of having a little bit of a contest, like who can make the best one. And then Rian Johnson.
I think it's called a pissing contest.
Yeah,
they both lost.
Straight up, they did, and it's because of each other.
Both lost.
Yep.
Yeah, and here you go. This is what Andrew says. There was real potential. There was great potential in The Force Awakens. It told a familiar story, but they set up some great things.
Sure.
And it just went nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Rian Johnson did some things that a lot of people don't care about. Nobody wants to see Luke Skywalker that way. There's a lot of things in that movie that people don't like, but J.J. Abrams takes such an abrupt just turn on that it's out of nowhere. Maybe he could have built off of some of those things. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. And I hate that because, like we've said all night, there's great ideas. There are great concepts. There are great characters. Ben Solo, Kylo Ren is my favorite character in these movies. And I think they did him the best. Mm-hmm. They didn't do him great, but they did him the best. And that's just because he has a real transformation. It might be all at once, and he has some gradual stuff, like he doesn't want to fire on his mom, and he has trouble killing his dad, and this, that, and the other. But we don't see any change in anyone other than him. And that's the problem. There's not a story here. What do you think about that, Nicole? What do you think about the story? Does it connect?
I'm with you. It's disjointed. So much potential. So much. And, and I like Kylo Ren. I'm like you. I like Kylo Ren. I like Ben Solo. I wish, again, I kind of wonder what would have happened with his story if they would have, during The Last Jedi, if they would have had him go to the Force and start that way in the last movie and see what would have happened. What would it have been like to see him up against Palpatine? I mean, earlier, what would happen? Yeah. They would have been like together as a team, right? What would happen? And I get it because it's so sad because sadly we lost Carrie.
Right.
Okay, I'm not gonna talk about too much because I'll just keep crying, y'all.
Yeah.
But I do, I kind of wonder if they lost, maybe it's because maybe Carrie was the heart. Maybe she was the glue. And once Mama's gone, it's like everything else fell apart. And maybe they were scrambling.
Yeah.
Maybe they were scrambling because they were like, holy crap, what are we going to do? And, because from what I knew or what I'd heard, the first movie was going to be about Harrison Ford. And maybe that's why Harrison agreed to come back for the third one. He might have done it for Carrie. Not for any of us, but for Carrie, for her memory. The second one was supposed to be about Luke, and then that was supposed to be about her. And sadly, again, we lost our princess earlier than any of us wanted.
Right.
And it was sad. I'm not gonna lie. I cried in the theater because I was sad both in that one and the Last Jedi because I was just like, Carrie, 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 Carrie,
Yeah.
And I do wonder if that's why we didn't see more character development with everyone else.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to work around her.
Right.
And
it's just so frustrating because it's like, but would Carrie have wanted that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's say this. Favorite moments in Tross happens with Carrie, but I will explain that when we get to that point. So
I really wish that they would have. I know it's sad to say. I wish that because Carrie passed away before the release of The Last Jedi. Okay. And I really wish they would have given her a great send-off in that movie. There was ways that they could have given her that send-off in that movie that would have been fitting. It would have been respectful and what fans would want. And they didn't do that. And even in early Rise of Skywalker, they could have done that. And everyone would understand. We know she passed away. We get that. And I just think that they did her character horribly because now they're just reused footage in Rise of Skywalker. Mostly. She had filmed some of it, but mostly reused film. And it just doesn't seem like her story finished well. And I hate that for Carrie Fisher. I hate that for the character of Leia. I hate that for all of that. And the reason that I don't connect with these movies as much is the character development. And maybe that had something to do with it. But that entire last movie was just sequence by sequence by sequence. It was just like fast forward. It's like we fast forward through an entire story. There was a whole story there. It's just we fast forward through it. We didn't get any of the development. And that's the problem with these movies. Anything about, is the story connected? Does it tell a good story? Any story, a Star Wars story, any story, period.
I hear people also posting that it would be a good regular story. It's just not a good Star Wars story. I don't know if I agree with that. I just don't think it's a good story in general. Obviously Star Wars, you've got the characters that are familiar to us. You've got the environments that are familiar to us for over decades. And, the story that you tell in that universe has to make sense in that universe. And to me, a lot of it didn't make sense. A lot of it was contrary to what we already know of some characters. Obviously, we talked a little bit about that and the regression. I don't think they did a good job with I guess detailing the way that this story was told. They started out, okay, even if it was a retread of A New Hope. Okay, I can see this. You're telling me this story. It's fine. But the last two movies were just like, oh my God, and unfortunately, because of the dueling directors, the fans really are the ones that suffered.
Agreed.
And obviously, Joker posted up a quote on the box office for the movies. Nobody's crying because the last movie did only $1 billion. Boo hoo. Yeah. Nobody's crying about that.
They still made money.
Right. So it's unfortunate. I think, obviously, the Solo movie did a lot less than that, and that's where people are, focusing on,
Right.
which is, you know, they're focusing on the wrong thing. Why did it bomb so much? It's not because we had Star Wars fatigue and we had another Star Wars movie 6 months after the last one. That's just ridiculous. Andrew
Yeah.
and I talk about that all the time. Star Wars fatigue is a myth. We
I
have
cannot never get enough.
yeah, we had Star Wars every week during the shows of the streaming services. So where does your Star Wars fatigue argument go there? So yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's a great story, Star Wars or otherwise.
Yeah. And I think Andrew says it best here. Someone felt like it was the best way to make people love the new characters by damaging the originals. They were wrong. And I think maybe someone had that idea. Maybe they did it unintentionally. I don't think they did. They intentionally kind of put them in a place to make them seem not as great as they should have been. Shanti comes in, you wouldn't even have this property if not for the original trilogy. Disney has been disappointing me more and more recently. And it's because they take those legacy characters and kind of make them less than.
Hmm.
That's what I think people had the biggest problem with. If these characters came in and really mentored and shared what they had with these people, and this is what I was getting to next. Andrew beat me to it. The same people who say EU leak was too powerful are the same people that love Rey, Kylo passing objects through the Force across vast distances. I think the EU Legends now did a great job with the legacy characters. The EU has problems, but there's so much media there that it's going to happen. I mean, you're not going to hit it out of the ballpark with everything, but they developed their characters well. The legacy characters, Han and Leia were married. They went through a lot of pain. They went through a lot of things with their kids and their family, but they didn't break up. They didn't ever give up. They had hope. And while they told a tragic story, even with like Jason Solo, I know we're kind of getting into some deep dives here. They still stayed together and they still had hope. Even Luke Skywalker, he had problems even in those last couple of series. His son maybe turned to the dark side, like he had problems with that and not knowing this and not knowing that. I don't know where they kind of got off the rails because they had so much good material to work with and they kind of ignored all of it and did their own thing, which I'm okay with, but they did it the wrong way.
And they could have ignored the expanded universe because they set it up and put it on the side for a reason, obviously.
Yeah, agreed.
But I don't think that they purposely put down the legacy characters to bring theirs up. I think that happened to as an accident because I feel they just really didn't know what to do with the original trilogy
Yeah,
characters.
agreed.
I've heard interviews say, if we had Luke in there, then it turns into a big Luke story. And
Yeah.
again, why shouldn't it? It's part of the supposed Skywalker saga. So what's your problem?
Yeah.
But you're right. I think the legacy characters should have been something, characters that would mentor in and continue, I guess, the story of kind of uniting the galaxy again.
Yeah.
And then, obviously taking some liberties from the expanded universe. They just had no clue. It was pretty apparent from the get-go.
Yeah. And kind of and this is a thought that I literally just came up with, just us talking about this. But the difference between the Legends material, EU, whatever you want to call it, and the Disney canon is that the expanding universe literally just took Han, Leia, and Luke, expanded their stories into the future, projected out what they were going to do, and it was great. And Disney kind of just took them back a peg and brought in all new characters. And I think that's great. New characters are great. Telling a different story is great, but having those characters in there, and we already know kind of what they could have been with the extended universe, I think that hurt them. I really do.
Good point. That's a really good point.
And Joker voice, Kathleen Kennedy, she's the villain. She's Palpatine.
We're not. We're just focusing on the movies.
True. So with this last little segment, we're trying to wrap it up, guys. We're trying to wrap it up.
We just started.
Character.
Yeah.
It seems like we did, man. I'm having a great
Always,
time.
man.
Like
Yeah.
I could talk about this until tomorrow morning. But favorite character, ship, and location, and any final thoughts you have on the sequel trilogy. Nicole, let's start with you. What do you think? Favorite character, ship, and location. Final thoughts.
Favorite character, location, ship. Well, we already know what ship. That's a done deal. Chewie,
Okay.
we're home.
Okay. I thought she was going to go with the other ship.
Well, there is like, I thought we were talking about ships. Okay, y'all need to start, like, this is what's wrong with grammar today. I was thinking about ships, and my brain went with physical ships.
No, you got it. You got it right.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, that's what we've done the last 2 episodes. So yeah, actual starships. We're talking about actual starships. Raylo.
Thank you. We're not talking about. I thought that. Yeah. Don't you mess me up, bro. But although I will have to say, I did like Kylo's ship. I thought it was interesting. That was neat. You know, there are things that are neat about what we saw. I want to bring up, because I don't want to forget my favorite thing from The Rise of Skywalker, because I was in the theater and I knew it then. You know, they're training and it's Leia and it's Luke. And I looked at my friend and I said, I think that's Billy. I think that's her playing her mom. Yeah. And I remember texting friends, and they're like, no, nobody's leaked it out. Nobody said anything, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, I don't know about that. And I'm glad I stuck to my guns. I really am, because when it came out, I'm like, I knew it. This is me. I knew it. I called it. I said it. I just knew it. And when I look back at The Rise of Skywalker, that is one of my favorite parts, because I felt Billy needed that. They needed that. We needed that. Whether we knew it or not, whether you agree with it or not, that's fine. You don't have to agree to it. But I feel Billy needed that for her mom, and she needed it for her. That was a moment she will always have to honor her mom. I will always love the voices that was done. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I learned that Ashley Eckstein was on the runway, I was like, oh my God, we might be getting Ahsoka tomorrow. You know what I mean? I lost my stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe. And even if we only got a blip of it, I was ecstatic. I loved hearing all the different voices. You know, could have been done differently, maybe. I want to go back to. I'm gonna go backwards. And yes, I'm kind of going away from what you wrote. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. You're fine. You're fine.
I loved Broom Boy. That tip end. I remember again with my friend. Shish you. You'll have your turn. I loved it that he went, yeah, like that was hope. How many of us as kids look up to somebody and all of a sudden we're wearing our superhero cape, or we're doing things that they're doing and they're excited. And I felt like Broom Boy captured something really all 3 of the movies should have captured. And that was that hope and that excitement through a child's eyes, and that, yes, for the resistance. And I'm like, dude, I want to be like him. I want to be like him. I remember even looking at my friends and going, I think there should be a movie about Broom Boy. This is me. There should be a movie about Broom Boy. He should be it. This should be it. 15 years down the road, we should have Broom Boy. He should have been, who knows, we might still get that. Okay, and if we get it, you're welcome. The Force Awakens, I know I'm going further backwards. Again, Chewie and
keep
home.
going. Hey, I don't care. We could go all night. We've got more viewers now than we had like 3 minutes ago, so we can start a whole new discussion. But anyway,
yes. So with Force Awakens, I did like it. I'm not gonna say I didn't dislike it. You know, the excitement, the new characters, Chewie, I'm home. Minus the moment with Han Solo, of course, and Kylo and Chewie, and that just broke my heart. Oh, need to go back to The Last Jedi. One more thing with The Last Jedi. I'm gonna not see whatever he wrote. I don't want to lose my train of thought. That moment also between Leia and Luke when he came down, and I know a lot of people don't like it. He had the, Han's whatever dice,
His
whatever.
dice. Yeah.
For me though, when I was in the theater, the dice didn't. It mattered, but it didn't matter because it was that moment again. In real life, that Mark Hamill's looking at that moment and going, "I had a moment that nobody will ever have. Nobody can ever take that away from him. He had something that, like, I love it." There's Karen Hanlon. She's an amazing artist. She did a beautiful artwork of this moment, and it's just gorgeous of Leia and her brother. That moment was so. I was crying, you guys. Okay?
It was so
Whether you
pure.
like The Last Jedi or not, in that moment when I was in the theater, I was probably like this, like
You didn't have that popcorn bucket. That was Rise of Skywalker now.
But my heart was just because I couldn't stop thinking about Carrie. Of course, when I went to go see The Rise of Skywalker, was it The Rise of Skywalker or was it?
It was for Last Jedi. She had passed before Last Jedi.
No, I'm thinking of Peter Mayhew. At some point, of course, we lost him, and it just, of course, I boo-hooed all. Are you kidding? I cried for each one. Kenny Baker is a whole separate conversation. We'll have that another day because that will definitely make me cry for its own reasons that I have. But that moment, I mean, none of us will ever know what Mark Hamill felt watching that or seeing that moment later. Sure, because that was his and that was Carrie's moment that we didn't get to have in the last movie. Right. Also good reason to treasure your life and treasure your time because yeah. So I'm going to treasure the good stuff because, I could sit here and bitch fest all day long. It's not going to help my health nor my mental health. It's not because I'm drinking Kool-Aid that's crazy, poisonous with crap we're glossing over. I'm being honest. Like, I feel there's lots of character and development and stuff, but I'm going to treasure the good stuff because I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought I was going to punch somebody.
Comment of the night.
Yeah.
Who wants the stickers? I got Kit Kats too.
But I agree with you, Nicole.
I got you.
I like Luke and Leia in the The Last Jedi. It was so pure. It was a pure moment. I wish Luke was there in the physical. I wish he really would have been there. But going back to Broom Boy, I think you're right though. Shanti says that he's a little corny here. He's a little corny. I get what he represented. She means represented. Boom. There that is. But all of The Last Jedi is corny. I agree. But I think Broom Boy could be a good Jedi. He's Force sensitive. We know that. Let's see him down the road. Let's see Rey start a Jedi Academy and do some things right. Development in there. I wouldn't have a problem with her if there was some development.
Yeah.
But no, I wholeheartedly agree.
I'm gonna throw in something real quick because I remember when I was reading the books leading up to The Rise of Skywalker, there was a favorite book that I love. I absolutely love this. It was by Kevin Schnick. This book does not get talked about. It's about Force Collector. Okay. So it's about a whole new character, Carr, right? There's really only one real character they really go back to. And I'm not going to tell you. I don't want to spoil it. But I will spoil it in regards to the OT. And of course, it is our long and always C3PO that's included. But I loved it because it's like they were able to capture in this book all new stuff, but in some way still connect us one way to the past. And I read it in under 24 hours. I absolutely loved that book. And if they ever did it, I would rather have it either at like a TV made for movie. So it could really, it's hard to start watching with the opening crawl. Why? Because y'all knew Carrie wasn't with us? Come on. Give it a chance. I feel like, where's Lunar Girl? I need Kelly here right now.
She's saving the day right now.
Over Book of Boba Fett telling us, but you'll get through it. You'll love it. DB, tell her if you're near her. But no, I always felt like that would be a good movie or a made for TV movie because I felt that should have been the way, and a one and done, not a we're gonna have a trilogy. No, this is one good book.
A Star Wars story.
It is an absolutely good Star Wars story. It does take place between like the Rise of Skywalker, but again, it does pull back to your C-3PO just a little bit, but it's really good.
Yeah. So, Ro, favorite character, ship, and location in the sequel trilogy, and final thoughts.
Let's see if you do better than I. I did final thoughts instead.
She did the heavy lifting.
She did. Let's see. You guys talked about the Luke and Leia moment towards the end of
yes.
Was it The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
And The Last Jedi is a movie obviously that I wanted to like. Obviously leaving the theater at the end of The Force Awakens, you see Luke, oh my God, Rey gives him the lightsaber. What's going to happen? Hope. Oh my God, yeah, here he is. He's going to come and save the day. And then The Last Jedi started and wasn't what I expected.
There's a lightsaber.
So for me, that experience kind of tainted the rest of the film. I didn't see Luke the same way. I didn't care about what he had to say to Leia because he just decided to abandon his friends and family. He just threw it. I mean, that first shot where he throws the lightsaber away kind of represents the entire movie experience for me.
Oh my God, what movie was it? Which Star Wars movie? There's a Star Wars movie. Is it the second one? He throws.
Yeah, don't get into he throws the same. It's a different context.
It's a disrespectful. Yeah. It's a disrespectful throw. I think it went for humor in a way that the sequel trilogy tries to do humor, like Poe telling a "Yo Mama" joke in The Last Jedi. That was so cringeworthy. Luke throwing the lightsaber. I think it went for comedy that wasn't funny. It was kind of disrespectful to the fandom.
Right.
And I'm going to stand on that.
The toss in Return of the Jedi when he turns around and tosses his lightsaber, it represents him not doing what Palpatine wants him to do and kill his father. The toss in The Last Jedi is comedic, and it's I don't care about the galaxy, and I'm deciding to give up my right as a Jedi Knight to try and save the galaxy. It's a whole different context. The act is the same, but I think you should have a Snickers, my dear, and really think about the context, right, of that throw. And I see people saying, "Oh, Luke Skywalker threw the lightsaber in Return of the Jedi." Yes, he did, but it was a different context. And as Shanti is saying, context is everything. So
it was a very serious moment. It was a very serious moment in Return of the Jedi. Like he threw the lightsaber, saying, "Hey, I'm not going to kill my father. I'm going to do the Jedi thing here." He threw the lightsaber in The Last Jedi, as in, "Oh, I don't care about the Jedi. Blah 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 blah. Who cares?" So there's extremes
it's diametrically opposed. Those two concepts in Luke's head, the way they wrote it, are so opposed. They're polar opposites. And I get pissed off when people say that on Twitter. Oh, they threw it in Return of the Jedi. Yeah, but context is king.
Bring it up in context, nothing else.
Sure. We'll have a conversation at ScarifCon.
This is healthy conversation, everyone. This is healthy conversation.
But so as far as my favorite character, like I said, I mean, for me, I think, it's kind of a two-parter. I mean, I really loved Rey, and I thought Daisy Ridley's acting in The Rise of Skywalker was really good. I think all three of them, the trio, really did a fantastic job acting in that last movie. What does the 97 Bravo say? JJ having that lightsaber moment, Luke. Yeah. So Ray, I really like Ray. I like Ray's. I like the concept of Ray. But someone that I really also really enjoyed, because he would have been a great antagonist until Ryan Johnson kind of messed him up, was Hux, General Hux.
Yeah.
He was a terrifying character in The Force Awakens. That speech that he made to the troops was terrifying. Obviously, it brought thoughts or images of Nazi Germany. It was terrifying, and then to turn him into a clown in The Last Jedi was just like, oh God.
And it all started with a Yo Mama joke. It all started with a Yo Mama joke from Poe.
Yeah. So let's see. And as far as I think I really don't have, obviously some of the newer ships in the sequel trilogy, I really can't remember. I mean, you've got Kylo Ren's fighter that we see at the beginning of his shuttle at the beginning of The Force Awakens, which is kind of cool. But I think I'm always going to go with TIE fighters. Even the First Order TIE fighters are. I actually like the First Order TIE fighters a little more than the original trilogy TIE fighters. I think they made some really great improvements on them, which I really enjoy. So the TIE fighter has always been, we had a shirt on the T Public, friends don't let friends fly X-Wings, which unfortunately was taken down, but I'll find another way to bring it up. But yeah, TIE fighters are always cool. As far as locations, I mean, I know a lot of people get on the bandwagon with sand planets. Jakku was pretty cool, but I think I like Takodana, especially on Takodana Tuesdays.
Yeah. Takodana Tuesdays.
That's a thing. It's a thing. But yeah, I guess those are my picks. As far as overall concept, here you go. Oh, that just gave me an idea, Shanti. Okay.
And he's like, I figured out the way.
This is the way.
Yeah, again, people know my feelings on the sequel trilogy, especially The Last Jedi. I mean, for me, the one that really sticks in my craw a lot is The Last Jedi. I can still watch The Force Awakens. I can kind of still watch Rise of Skywalker. But I can't ever see myself warming up to The Last Jedi ever again. And that's me.
I agree. I think that's just such a hard turn when we get The Last Jedi. Such a hard turn from The Force Awakens, and then a hard turn back to Rise of Skywalker, where those two movies kind of line up more than The Last Jedi. But as far as my favorite character, I'm going to say Kylo Ren. He's the only character that got any kind of development, however abrupt. He did get development, and I like seeing that struggle between the light and the dark and the light pulling. That's cool. As far as the ship, I'm going to go opposite of Roe. I like the new X-Wings. I like they took the X-Wing that looked kind of bulky in the originals and looks great. I love the original X-Wing, but this one gives it a little bit sleeker look. It's a little bit more rounded, or the turbines are more rounded. It's a cool look. I like what they did with the X-Wing. The only problem with the sequels, they make everything look great, but they kind of just ping off the original trilogy looks. The prequel trilogy really takes the designs in a different way. I think the prequel trilogy did a great job designing ships. The sequel trilogy just took the original ships from the original trilogy and kind of took it up one notch. So they kind of stepped on the shoulders.
Yeah.
But I like the X-Wings. As far as locations, that's a hard one. I like what's the salt planet? What's the salt planet? I can't think of. I had it in my mind. I can't think of it now. the salt planet from The Last Jedi, even though I don't like that movie. I like the location.
The look, yeah.
It's when
What
he's
was the
sitting
name
there,
of
he's
that
like,
planet?
I can't think of it now. I just had it in my head.
Somebody in the chat. What's the snow planet, or I'm sorry, the salt planet?
Oh.
You're not meaning Canto Bite.
No,
not Canto Bite. No,
nobody likes Canto Bite.
no,
I never said that.
no, but we did. It's Crate.
Crate,
Is
there
the
you go.
planet.
Although I
and
do
he's-
have a book about Canto Bite.
Of course you do.
Of course, you got all the books.
Actually,
Crate,
you know what? Hold on. Special note though, it's because I got to meet E.K. Johnston at C2E2 at my first one, so I got to get.
Cool.
I got to get Canto Bite and The Rise of Skywalker autographed, and I got to meet her and things. So,
but Crate is my favorite location. They're talking about like, what is this? Is this what is this? And then it's salt. There's salt all over this planet. And the battle, it was a great battle. I like the end of The Last Jedi, except for Luke projecting himself and dying because he projected. Anyway, but final thoughts on the trilogy. It was a disconnected story. It didn't develop the characters very well. And I think that is why we, as legacy fans, as I like to call ourselves, people who have invested into Star Wars, people who read all the books and watch all the movies multiple times, watch all the shows and read the extended universe, the legends, and try to get into the theory of Star Wars. And there's the Canto Bite book. That's why we do what we do. And I just don't think that the sequel trilogy
comes right after Plasma and Bloodline Plasma and then Canto Bite.
But I just don't think that the sequel trilogy does it for us fans.
I will say this though, real quick about Canto Bite. I'm reading it. Actually, it takes place before The Force Awakens. So there's some really good stuff in here that people aren't reading because whatever reason, don't feel like reading.
So all you Star Wars fans,
there it is. Yeah.
all you Star Wars fans,
cool.
read Canto Bite. Maybe you'll appreciate it more. I probably won't.
I get
But some of you
a
may.
lot of these books on the in between. So, of course, the other one. What? I
Good
know.
night, Bravo. Luke's hair and beard was dyed in his projection. He just wanted to look good, man. He wanted to look good for the battle. Come on. Like, don't you want to look fresh when you're going to save the galaxy? But just final thoughts. I wish the sequel trilogy would have done more. They had a great start. They had a predictable start, but it was a good start. And then movies 2 and 3 just didn't do it for us. So ending up, let's find out where we can find you guys. I appreciate you coming on. Our Red 5 family is here. I love having you guys on for these lives, and that's kind of why I started doing the lives. We're mainly an audio show every week, but these lives really highlight our Red 5 family, and we get the perspectives of Ro and Nicole and Shanti and Danny and all these other great people that decide that they want to come on my show, which I'm so happy that you do because you make it so much more interesting. So let's find out where we can find these great people. Nicole, where can we find you?
All right. Well, I'm a multiverse type girl. You can find me on Twitter at Peace Love Star Wars, as well as on Instagram at Peace Love Fandoms because I love lots of fandoms. On Facebook, I'm actually I'm a co-admin of Peace Love Disney, hence all the peace and love because we like to focus on the good stuff, not always
happy.
Just be happy. It's not to say that we're not genuine because we really are, but anyways, that's a separate conversation. I'm also 1/3 of the Rogue One Radio, which is of course a part of this really cool gentleman's network, also known as the Red 5. So yeah, that's where you can find me, Rogue One Radio. Come hang out with me on Tuesdays. I'm here once in a while. I'm on Rose Show once in a while. I'll be on comics and cosmetics soon enough. Hey, I might even be on Joker Voices show one of these days.
Hey,
We'll see. It might happen. You never know. So
just calling out Joker Voice real quick. He was on Dork Wars Live for the first time ever 2 weeks ago with Dinks the Puppet, and
okay, that was really cool. That was
hilarity
really cool, yeah.
ensued, and we're gonna have to. It was a great contrast. They're both cartoon characters, really. But Ro, where can we find you?
Well, you can find the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast on all the socials. Search for Scarif Podcast or Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast. We are on the Red 5 Network's webpage, red5network.com. We're also snuck in the S section of the bio.link/red5. So check us out there. And yeah, doing a lot of great stuff and interacting with some wonderful people like Blake and Nicole.
Yeah, we hope to be wonderful people. I love it. Don't leave yet, folks. There's more. There's like an after credit scene, but before the credits roll. But anyway, I do want to say that you can find Dork Wars the podcast at dorkwarspodcast.com. That is our new hub for everything. You can find our merch store. You can find our episodes. You can find about us, like who we are, what we're about. You can find us on all the streaming networks, Spotify, Apple Music, I guess there's a Google thing now. I don't know. It's Pandora, iHeartRadio, everything. We're on everywhere. Mm-hmm. And we enjoy having you guys in the live chats. We love having you talk to us. We love just interacting with you. That's what this is all about. It's interacting with the listeners, people who love Star Wars and all other geeky things like we do. So just check out Dork Wars Podcast. We're on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Just check us out. And I know you will. So in 2 weeks, we will have a very special guest, a very famous TikToker. She is all about the MCU, Marvel, Olivia Grace. I'm going to play a short promo kind of what she does. And this is kind of our promo for 2 weeks from now. I'm never prepared early, and now I am. This is Olivia Grace. Check her out. Nice. Check us out in 2 weeks. This is what she does.
Okay, so y'all remember that scene when Thor and Bruce are trying to get back onto the Quinjet and they have to put in their names that Tony set up for them? And Thor's nickname is Point Break and Banner's is Banner, and then they call him the strongest Avenger. Here's how I would imagine the others would go.
Voice activation required.
Captain Rogers.
Denied.
Steve Rogers.
Denied.
Captain America.
Denied.
Spangles.
Welcome, annoying Avenger. Voice activation.
Clint Barton.
Denied.
Hawkeye.
Denied.
Legolas.
Denied.
No, I refuse to say that.
You have to.
Bird Brain.
Welcome, Barnyard Avenger. Voice activation required.
Natasha Romanoff.
Denied.
Black Widow.
Denied.
Natalie Rushman.
Welcome, scariest Avenger.
So that is what you have to look forward to in 2 weeks. She knows all things Marvel, all things MCU. She gets into other stuff, but I think we're going to do a Marvel episode in 2 weeks. Can't wait to see you there. So go check out Dork Wars. Go check out Rogue One Radio. Go check out the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Go check out Red 5. Just check out all of us. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for supporting Dork Wars, the podcast. You can check us out on Facebook.com/Dork Wars, the podcast. And if you would like to join in on the discussion or maybe suggest topics for us to discuss, please do so by joining our Discord community or sending us an email at dorkwarspodcast@gmail.com.